My dear settlers, as I look upon this humble camp we have built together, each tent, each fire, and every laugh echoes the promise of a brighter future. We stand at the dawn of a new era, where our dreams of prosperity are not just whispers in the wind, but a tangible reality waiting to be forged by our hands. But let us not forget the path to prosperity is fraught with challenges. We must be wise in our decisions, strategic in our endeavors, and united in our purpose. The world beyond our borders is vast and unpredictable, yet I have faith in our resilience. With each passing day, we will gather resources, strengthen our bonds, and expand our reach. So gather around, my friends. Let us embark on this journey together, for the rise of our manor is not just a dream, it is our destiny. Together, we will transform this camp into a thriving haven, a beacon of hope for all who seek a better life. Heyo and welcome to our first episode of Build&Battle Season 3, where we will build a beautiful medieval city while battling off famine, mutiny, and the freezing cold. In the last episode, we planned out the start of our new city of Namateen by evaluating the map and drawing in tentative arterial and connector road layouts for our people. So if you happen to miss that episode, then check out the info card above, or if you're looking for a new Manor Lords Let's Play series to binge watch, then check out the entire Season 3 playlist located in the description below. In today's episode, we will lay the foundations of our capital city by introducing our starting production lines, housing, and residential needs. So we have a lot of building ahead of us today, so let's jump right on into it. So the very first item I want to build today is actually the granary, because whether you are starting on hard mode, easy mode, winter, or summer, when you play Rise to Prosperity, your first priority should always be preventing food spoilage. So let's jump on in and let's snuggle this in close to where our city center is. Now with the granary in place, let's place down our storage warehouse, and I think I'm going to place it right next to the granary in this location, again, so it's close to the city center. We will eventually need to place more granaries and more storehouses down the line, as I plan on Namateen becoming a major trade hub and major producer in this region. So let's jump on in and I'm actually thinking let's rearrange this a little bit. Let's actually put the granary over here, and we'll put the storage unit right here, and a lot of that, because the storehouse has this very, very nice little fence that I would love to run alongside the road. So let's wiggle this in right here. And let's replace our granary right here. Perfect. And then let's let this grow in and give our settlers a moment to build these. Now with these built, there is one thing I wish to get in here sooner rather than later, and that is actually the marketplace. And if you can guess it, yep, we're gonna put it right here in this circle, because why not? So what I'm thinking of doing is just putting a whole marketplace here. And we will come back to kind of finish constructing more of the city center with, say, like a well, some housing, etc. But for now, I do want to get the marketplace in as soon as possible, so that the moment we begin to take in more food, the granary has a place to actually sell it. So let's just come on in here. And see what we can get for stalls. Perfect. We could get 65. That is so many stalls. All right, so while those are building in, we're going to begin our food production, especially since our supplies will rot for the first winter, just due to the winter and snow. So because it is winter, we are going to start foraging first, so we can bring in a food supply and try to time our first field harvest at another time. So let's start our foraging with the hunting camp first, since one, it doesn't actually cost any lumber, and two, wild game can be hunted in the winter, unlike fish, which would need a development point to catch during the winter months since the pond is frozen over. So where I would like to do is just grab the hunting camp and come into one of these roads that we actually made back in episode 0. We are just going to plop that right on in there. And I am going to give this a fairly high priority because I want it to start generating some meat and some food. to start constructing our fisherman's hut because I want it to be built and ready to start harvesting the fish as soon as the pond thaws. I am also really excited to see what this looks like. So let's jump right on in, let's place down the fisherman's hut, and then let's kind of watch it build up and see what this new asset looks like. Okay, so that is actually a really cute little asset. It's very quaint. So let's take a look here. So you can obviously assign a family, which I'm going to do as soon as possible. Again, to get some more food in, especially now that it's spring and the pond is melting. Also, that's interesting. So you can have a reserve, so it'll stop producing if the region's resources less or equal to the reserve. So it'll stop after 120. So we'll leave that number there for now because I don't quite know what the replenishing rate is on this yet, and I do plan to experiment and see how much we can capitalize on this fisherman's hut. Now with the basic necessities of food and storage in place, we need to focus on our settlement's final necessity, which is housing. But before we can begin to construct burgage plots, we actually need more lumber. We only have 2 timber left. So let's start by taking those 2 timber and constructing our logging camp. I think I'm probably going to put it right down here. Next, we need to keep our residents' houses warm in the winter, so let's come on in and get a firewood camp up and running so we can start stockpiling those goods before the next winter actually sets in. In anticipation for the immense amount of planks we will need to upgrade our burgage plots, build a church, a manor house, and just everything in general, I want to start stockpiling our planks now. So let's plop this in, and if we have a surplus of workforce by the end of today's build, we will start this production up as well. Finally, I do also want to get the forester huts in right away. This is more of a personal priority for me as I feel the growth rate is significantly less than the harvesting rate when it comes to the lumber production. So I like having 2 forester huts ready to start replenishing our forests. Again, this is really only going to get employed if we have enough workforce later on in the episode. So I think, like I said, I want to put 2 of these ones in. So I think I would like to place one right about here. And one more. Well, we'll place the second one in a second. I actually need a little bit more timber before we can do that. Coming back into the city center here, I did rearrange our roads just slightly, mainly this one here and this one right here. And now I want to come back in and wiggle in a well on one of our one of our underground veins here. So I think I want to place it right here as close to the road as I can. So I think just like that should suffice. Next, I'm going to want to do a massive amount of building in this season. So I want to get 2 hitching posts in right away. So let's start by relocating our current hitching post. And I'm going to place it right up here. I think right here should be okay.
And let's get a second one in. I might have to relocate these because I feel like I'm obstructing the road getting them that close together. But if we have to relocate these when we upgrade them to stables, we will. Now that our settlers have fuel and food, let's give them shelter, and what better place to start the first houses than right around the marketplace. Hopefully we will be able to level these up to level 3 burgage plots and get that nice stone wall encircling the area, or at least that's the aesthetic goal. So let's try our best to draw in these future artesian houses. Okay, so our final construction for the day is going to be the stone camp, and honestly, it's not necessary to build it this early in the game. I just want it for a few reasons. One, we will need the stone for future buildings. Two, the stone camp is usually in the way of where I want to build, therefore I want to just harvest the material, then demolish the campsite as soon as the resource node is depleted. So let's get that stone camp in and get it going so we can get this quickly checked off our list of things to do. Alrighty, I think that actually just about wraps up today's episode. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like below and let me know your thoughts on the start of our new city. Next week, we will continue to expand our settlement by introducing taxes, trade, and faith to our settlers, so be sure to hit that subscribe and turn on that notification bell so that you know when the episode airs. Until next time, I hope everybody has a phenomenal week.